So now that's not terrifying. Those are robots, actual robots today. These videos are very, very recent. So much so that the Atlas video is like several weeks old. They could just started doing backflips. And so we are now at a point where robots themselves, like WALL-E, are now sentient. They are thinking. They can carry some sort of emotion to it, which is amazing because in today's studies and empathy studies about humanism and consciousness is like starting to make us think about what it means to deal with inanimate objects. They're all inanimate. They're animated by their code or they're animated by their robotic gears, but they're inanimate objects. At the end of the day, they turn off. Yet we deal with them almost in the way that we personify animals, like a dog. Like we think they're doing human things when they're just doing dog things. And so it's important for us to know that we are separate. We as humans are separate, but we have an innate trait of trusting these robots. And it's important because when you deal with a robot, we're likely not to be too well connected to them because A, they're way too expensive. But some of you might have a Roomba that's made by iRobot. And some of you might know somebody who went to war, and in war they dealt with bomb diffusing robots. Now there's a new study that's just come out that people who lose their robots are starting to mourn for their robots the way that people mourn for lost animals or pets. And that means there's an emotional attachment to these bots, that they feel something, like something that's inside that makes them think that these robots are part of them. Now we might have already seen that because on the other hand, we have disembodied robots that some of you mentioned in your paper. The Siri, Cortana, Alexa, Google, all of these robots are algorithms. They're cloud-based bots. They live inside the cloud, which are huge hard drives somewhere, probably in Utah, probably in the Arctic Circle because they have to be kept cold. But they are cloud-based bots, and you could talk to them. At any point, you could talk to your Siri. When you're using GPS on Google, you're talking to one of them. When you ask Alexa to buy you books, there's a robot, and they are cloud-based. And we are starting to communicate with them the way we communicate with our friends, or tell them orders, or give them operations. They are disembodied robots. I mean, sure, you might think Siri has a body in your phone, or Alexa has a body in that tube she comes in, but there's not really something. And again, here I am gendering these tubes, because we hear the voice and we consider that. But in the reality, they're just bits of code that sort of float around and we just sort of deal with it. Now here's what's interesting about that is the proximity to our humanness. All of these, from Siri to Alexa to Cortana to Google to any of these, are open microphones. When your phone is unlocked, it is listening all the time, which is why sometimes you go online and you see an ad for something you didn't search for. That's because it's hearing you, it's diagnosing it, it's thinking, and then it starts selling that data to advertisers. And then you see an ad for something you said, didn't search, but now it's something that it knows because it hears you and hears, and it's listening, which are different. Listening and hearing robots are part of our life already. We have already become comfortable with this idea. In fact, it's almost humorous to go over somebody's house who has Alexa and just yell out, "Alexa, put 200 toys in my shopping cart and buy it," and see what happens. And man, that'll probably piss off your friends or you or whatever, because that's probably not nice, but it's a good prank. But that means there's an open microphone in the house. And we don't mind. We just don't mind that somebody's listening. Somebody, a machine, but in any way, there's something out there that's listening. So I don't think I have to show you any videos of what disembodied robots are, but you do know that there's people who get to talk to it, and in doing so, you know that these disembodied robots live there. So that leads us to our second half, part 2 of this Future Literacies lecture, which is proximity. How close we're getting to communicating via enhanced visuals. And I'm talking about virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality, VR, AR, MR. And these are the technologies that are currently existing, in some cases fairly old. VR is nearly 50 years old at this point. Augmented reality has really hit its peak in 2009 and has slid down the hill. And MR, which is being developed at this moment, is part of our life in the next few years. And so I think it's important for you to keep an eye out for what happens with these, because VR is fairly important. First off, I'm doing my dissertation on virtual reality because I'm doing it on data valence and the idea that we are being captured. Our body is the remote control for a VR device. So how much data does it need? Because keep this in mind, when you use the Oculus Rift, which is the technology that I have on the wall over here, this is my office, by the way, on Thursday or any day you want to come by on a Tuesday and Thursday and use the VR, I think it's very important for you to try that out. I'll put that in the description. I think you should get your face inside of a headset so you understand what it means to be truly immersed. But the Oculus Rift is owned by Facebook. And that's pretty important because Oculus is a Facebook product, and why would Facebook want to have a VR thing? So I'm going to show you a quick video of VR Spaces, or Facebook Spaces, Mark Zuckerberg's dream to what to do with this, which is fairly creepy. But what he's trying to do is find the data he didn't have. He had all the data, give him all of that data, and now he didn't have where your hands are, he doesn't have your height, he doesn't have where you look, but put on a mask and wear the Oculus Touch, and all of a sudden he has you. He has the rest of your body to digitize and quantize. And in that quantization process, you are data as far as he's concerned. Now, the next stage of what these things are is called mixed reality. And mixed reality is when we could see through the virtual reality lens. So instead of being immobilized by a virtual reality headset, immobile because it would be a very bad idea to walk through a crowd or or somewhere wearing a mask. You know, if you're wearing this and you're crossing the street, you're probably going to get hit by a car. So it's probably not good to be wearing some immobile device. But mixed reality takes away this and allows you to see beyond and see through the lens and see augmented reality devices within it. Augmented reality being like Pokemon Go, which you know, which is seeing digital objects in physical spaces. Mixed reality is being able to interact with those digital objects in physical spaces. So the next two videos show you two things. The next one is Facebook Spaces and Microsoft HoloLens.